Question 1. Tell me how you would check that the brakes are working before starting a journey. So we would apply the foot brake, and the foot brake should not feel spongy or slack. Question 2. Tell me where you would find the information for the recommended tyre pressures for this car and how tyre pressures should be checked. We will look for the manufacturer's guidebook and look for the information. We will use a tyre pressure gauge and we will check the tyres. Question 3. Tell me how you would make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted so it provides the best protection in the event of a crash. The head restraint should be adjusted so that the rigid part of the head restraint is at least as high as the eye or top of the ears and as close to the back of the head as is comfortable. Question 4. Tell me how you would check the tyres to ensure that they have sufficient tread depth and that the general condition is safe to use on the road. No cuts and bulges. We must have 1.6mm of tread depth across the centre, 3/4 of the breadth of the tyres and around the entire outer circumference of the tyre. Question 5. Tell me how you would check that the headlights and tail lights are working. You don't need to exit the vehicle. With this one, you would switch the headlights and tail lights on, get out of the vehicle, and then you would walk around the vehicle to make sure that all the bulbs are working. Question 6. Tell me how you would know if there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system. I would turn the engine on, and then if the ABS light stays on, we know there's a fault. Question 7. Tell me how you would check the direction indicators are working. You don't need to exit the vehicle. With this, I would switch on the hazard warning lights, and then I would walk around the vehicle to make sure that all the bulbs are working. Question 8. Tell me how you would check that the brake lights are working on this car. I would reverse to a reflective surface, a wall or a window, apply the foot brake, and then I would look for any reflections or get somebody to stand behind and check. Question 9. Tell me how you would check the power assisted steering is working before starting a journey. With this one, I would turn the engine on, and then I would move the steering wheel. And then if the steering wheel felt heavy, then I know the system is not working properly. Question 10. Tell me how you would switch on the rear fog light and explain when you'd use them. I'd operate the switch, and then I should have some symbols popping up on the dashboard, and I would put them on when visibility is reduced to 100 meters. Question 11. Tell me how you would switch your headlights from dip to main beam and explain how you would keep the main beam on. I'd switch the lights on and then push the light switch forward, and that's how we have the full beam. Question 12. Open the bonnet. Tell me how you would check that the engine has sufficient oil. So the first thing you need to do is to locate where the dipstick is. And we pull the dipstick out, we give it a wipe, clean it, put it back in, take it back out again, and then we take a reading from the gauge. That's how we check the oil. Question 13. Open the bonnet and tell how you would check that the engine has sufficient engine coolant. Locate the coolant, take a look at the side, and you should be able to see with the markers whether it's full or empty. Question 14. Open the bonnet and tell how you check that you have a safe level of hydraulic brake fluid. Locate where the hydraulic brake fluid is, take a reading from the markers on the side, and you should be able to see whether you're low on it or high on it. Now remember, you will only be asked one question out of the selection of the tell me questions. So get revising. If you do get one wrong, don't worry about it. It's just a minor. So get revising. Go bananas.